Going to a football match in the middle of pandemic feels like an undergoing endurance test in a reality TV show. A pre-match message instructs me to arrive at Hampden Park in Glasgow 3 hours before Scotland kick off against Republic. I must wear a mask at all times. I must take in all food from my micro bag into a plastic bag provided by the stadium, and all the catering will be shut. So no one see burgers or cartoons of La Pepsi to keep me going. When I immediately turn up to the stadium 3 hours early, the crowds are predictably sparse. The pub outside the ground with supporter wrapped in Scotland flag looked like a team charity. But when I suggest to a steward that might go get a drink ahead of the game, a look of concern crosses her kindly face. Be careful which pub you're going to, she says. Double seal coming. What is referring to could it be the Dunswick bag beside that I'm clutching? I have given my spare ticket to a rear Scot, my friend Alistair, but he's from Edinburgh, so also now 100% at home in Glasgow. We decide to take the device and skip the pub. Inside the stadium, we encounter in the van the largest tartan suit I've ever seen, including a tiny tartan cloth bag. I have posed for a photo with him, and then he tells me, "I had it tailor-made, son. It fits me like a glove." It is not just cover regulation that make this unique and peculiar football tournament. Euro 2020, as your first to insist on calling it, has also become sucked into the culture wars. Culture war. Cul- uh, Culture war. It's not just cover regulation that make this unique and peculiar football tournament. Euro 2020, as your first to insist on calling it, has also become sucked into culture wars. It's not just cover regulation that make this unique and peculiar football tournament. Euro 2020, as UEFA still insists on calling has also become sucked into the culture wars. National football team are symbol of the nation, but that is not a straightforward task at a time when national identity is so fiercely contested. The pressing issue for independence is independence. For England, it is race. It is race. Uh, England national football English football team has decided to take the knee before matches as a protest against racism, but each time they do it, they are booed by a significant section of their own supporters. Even the government seems uncertain about how to respond. After hesitating for a while, Boris Johnson Prime Minister condemned the blame and urged fans to get behind the team. But two members of his cabinet, Jacob Rees-Mogg and Priti Patel, defended the protest, with Rees-Mogg suggesting that the protesters are not expressing racism but condemning the Marxist of Black Lives Matter movement. Patel, Britain's Home Secretary, has accused players of indulging in gesturing politics. Players from the England team, whose pre-game conference normally confined to discussing tactics, injuries, and the atmosphere inside the camp, and now being asked to wear Home Secretary. It would be natural to assume that cabinet ministers are better at politics than footballers, but the Johnson government has reason to be worried of the English team. It went down to economics defended to Microsoft for overextension of free school meals for poor family. The Manchester United and England for like, no, this is not. With the list after I said for a while, Boris Johnson Prime Minister condemned the bullying and urged fans to get behind the team. But two members of his cabinet, Jacob Rees-Mogg and Priti Patel, defended the protest, and with the list more suggesting that the protesters are not expressing racism but condemning the Marxist of Black Lives Matter movement. Patel, Britain's Home Secretary, accused the player of indulging in gesturing politics. Players from the England team, whose conferences are normally confined to discussing tactics, injuries, and the atmosphere inside the camp, now being asked to react Home Secretary. It would be natural to assume that cabinet ministers are better at politics than footballers, but the Johnson government has reason to be worried of the English England team, whose pre-game press conferences are normally confined to discussing tactics, injuries, and the atmosphere inside the camp, and now being asked to rear Home Secretary. It would be natural to assume that cabinet ministers are better at politics than footballers, but the Johnson government has reason to be worried of the classing with the England team, whose England team last year, it went down to an economic difference when it took on Marcus Rashford over the extension of free school meal for poor families. The Manchester United and England forward mobilized a million signature behind the petition and forced the Johnson government to change tack. Forced the Johnson government to, forced the Johnson government to change tack. The 23-year-old works for preparation for your 2020. Uh, the 23-year-old rush for preparation. 23-year-old rush for preparation included Simcoe for Alabama, while plenty of tourists are prepared. The grumble about work in Rushford. Nobody willing to take him in public. The culture wars of football are not just happening in Britain. The multiracial Belgian team took the knee in Russia ahead of their opening game in the tournament. They were also booed by the crowd. Doubtless the Russians were also protesting against Marxism. Viktor Orban, Prime Minister of Hungary, one of the host nations for Euro 2020, had defended fans who were visiting team that took the knee, saying that Hungarians see the gesture as a provocation. Orban is himself a right-wing provocateur who has become a true hero to the Trumpist right in America by issuing frequent warnings about the dangers of Europe being flooded by Muslims. But even some moderate conservatives are uncomfortable with footballers, but the Johnson government has reason to be worried of the clashing with the England team, whose pre-game conferences are normally confined to discussing tactics, injuries, and touching. And now being asked to react. Overall, Ryan Williamson moderate conservative taking the who one prominent writing guy really laughing to me that football is being political space, but now the national team has become a source of division. I can see what it means this year's tournament. It never really brings back memories of Euro '96. When England also played their games at Wembley and the whole country did seem to get behind the team in an uncomplicated sort of way. Back then, packed the stadium, all joined in the singing of two lines and football's coming on. Now the stadiums are largely empty and some of the home crowds are actually going to place. By somebody who has been to many England games over the years, I know that the idea that the team was never mixed up with politics or race an illusion. England games have always attracted a substantial number of sort of hooligan for mm. Now the national team has become a source of I can see with this year tournament never brings back memory of Euro '96 when England forward mobilized a million signatures behind the petition. When England also played their games at Wembley and the whole country they seemed to get behind the team in an uncomplicated sort of way. Back then packed the stadium, all joined in the singing of the Lions football's coming home. Now the stadiums are largely empty and some of the home crowds are actually bring the players. Actually bring the players. But as somebody who has been to many England games over the years, I know that the idea that the team was never mixed up with politics or race is illusion. England games have always attracted a substantial number of Saudi hooligans, far-right supporters, whose trademark chant is "No surrender to the RNA." At the last European Football Championship in France in 2016, the ugly tradition of English football hooliganism re-emerged. When I remarked to another fan that I didn't particularly enjoy being caught up in a near riot, outside a bar in Marseille, I was told curtly, "If you don't like it, you should stay at home and watch the game on television." Football growing in the 1970s where I saw the most over racism that I ever witnessed in Britain. It was routine to see black players bark by bulls and monkey noises. The football authorities and commentators were silent about this for many years. So if the current national side feel they want to make a statement about racism, it is hard to accuse them of bringing politics into non-political space. The politics, particularly the racial politics, have always been there. The identity issues are rather different for Scotland. Euro 2020 comes as the Scottish government is ramping up demand for a second independence referendum. This is the first major international tournament the team has qualified for since 1998, nearly fitting the narrative of national revival. Arriving in Scotland for the first game of the tournament, I find the local paper full of optimism. In recognition of the enormity of the occasion, the Scottish government has even allowed school staff lessons to allow the kids to watch the game against the leaves. As a visiting English fan, I wonder how I feel about all this. I grew up supporting Scotland in big international tournaments the team had qualified for. I had little option, since England failed to qualify for the World Cup of 1974 and 1978. The British identity was less complicated back then. Le- Back then was the anthem play for the Scotland side that lined up to play Brazil in 1974 was "God Save the Queen", although the two recordings do not show the Scottish players looking particularly delighted. Today, the crowd and team will be belting up "Love Scotland" with a stern word that we can still rise and beat a nation again. When Scotland qualified for the World Cup in 1973, there were more than 9,000 people in Southampton, but today, thanks to COVID, it's a little over 9,000. Far from the joyous return to the big time that has been advertised, it feels pretty black and lonely in the stand, even if the Tartan army has been reduced to a little more than a couple battalion. They built up Love Scotland large enough to drown out conversation. The team started the game with all the expected passion and steering forward. Their captain Andy Robertson can be seen gesturing to his player to calm down. Then the text score and the air is sucked out of the stadium. At halftime, which I choose spent in the toilet next to the hand dryer, the warmest spot in Hampden, there's hopeful chatter around the window that Scotland might still be able to turn this round. But early in the second half, football history is made by the text. Patrick Schick, the team centre forward, gets the ball on the halfway line and floats the ball over the Scots goalkeeper into the net. It is one of the most brilliant goals any of us will ever witness. The crowd is now almost totally silent, apart from a tiny group of cheering checks on the other side of the stadium, and a group of continue children who continue happily shouting for Scotland, while the other around them are frozen in horror. After the match, a loss there reminds me that Scottish fans are used to bitter disappointment. Making the national football team a symbol of the nation is a double-edged sword. We imagine them scoring wonderful goals and celebrating with the fans, but what if your goalkeeper ends up floundering flat on his back, tangled up in the net? Euro 2020 has already delivered humbling setbacks for two football-mad populist leaders. Orban gave permission for a capacity crowd to attend Hungary's opening games in Budapest against Portugal, only to see the national side lose 3-0. Recep Tayyip Erdogan, president of Turkey, traveled to Azerbaijan and sat in a place of honor in the stands next to their president, from where he was able to see Turkey go down to a 2-0 defeat against Wales. England fans also have a habit disappointing their most ardent fans. The side are often portrayed as embodiment of what we like to believe are national characteristics: courage, calmness under pressure. In fact, as a recent piece by Jonathan Lear in The Guardian pointed out, England are uniquely bad at holding a lead in the tournament. The numbers seem to suggest they might even be battlers. And that or Hesse, the French and Italians are much better at holding their nerve when they take the lead. If Gareth Southgate, the England manager, can somehow break this cycle and turn England into winning output, he will eventually provide a huge boost to a Johnson government that is desperate for a symbol of the success of Brexit Britain. The Southgate has subtly but mistakenly positioned himself to the left of the government taking the knee. He leads a multiracial team and has reluctantly defended their right to make statements on subjects other than football. It has become accepted wisdom in Britain that culture wars always work better for the right than the left. But football may be an exception. A poll taken across Europe before Euro 2020 showed 54% of English football fans supported taking the knee, with 39% opposed. If the England team keep winning, the number in favor may rise, along with the team's popularity. For once, the right may find itself on the wrong end of culture war. For the duration of Euro 2020, I will care much less about who wins the culture war than who wins the tournament. For Scotland, the pressing Euro 2020 began with a deflating defeat. The England team disappointed their fans almost as reliably as the Scots, just slightly later in the day. On the other hand, This is a real tournament. It's taking place in the middle of pandemic. The stadiums are quarter full and England are playing half decently. I am aligning myself to for the weirdest outcome of the lot, an England victory.